Hi guys, my name is Priya Bajram. As some of you may know, I am a network engineer at Blue Networks Consultancy Limited, and it brings me great pleasure to present this initiative to you all called Let's Build It Together. So the purpose of this initiative is so that we can show you guys or help teach you guys how to configure a basic network. Now, we are going to build it from ground up. So we're going to start with some basic requirements, which are few VLANs, etc. And we're going to show you all the actual commands and how to configure each device to function properly. So this first session is by no means going to be technical. The purpose of this first session is to basically carry you through the different video sessions and what we are going to do in each session so you can have some preview into it. We are also going to introduce a network diagram so that you will be able to see exactly how the traffic is supposed to flow. Now, the upcoming slides are going to show you exactly what the build out is. So if I have a session this week, the session next week, you know exactly what's to come. So if you need to do research or extra reading or anything as such, if you want to ask questions and things like that, you all can do it in advance or on the day that I upload the video. So let's get started. Actually, before I get started, let me take a minute to wish you all a happy new year. And I really hope it's a bright and prosperous one for each and every one of you. I know for some of you all last year might have been tough, or the year before that might have been tough, but I believe that, if you all really believe in what you do and you have a passion for it, I believe anything is possible. So without further ado, Happy New Year and let's get into it. So the slide on my screen right now shows the 10 technical sessions. So this would technically be our first session, but the actual configuration would start in our next session. So the first session is going to be about the switch, because that's the first device that we're going to start with. That's where all of your VLANs are going to be created and things like that. So we're going to start with the management of the device. If you can't get into the device, you can't configure it. So the first thing we're going to do is show you how to set up the management, whether it's via VLAN or via management port. We'll get into that. After that, we're going to discuss the VLAN design that I would have proposed and how to configure the VLANs. What we will also do is show you in session 3 how to get those VLANs to talk to one another. So if you have multiple departments and you want to use in, say, HR to talk to somebody in accounts, they can do that using the switch. So in our setup, if you all didn't pick it up, the switch is going to be the core of the network. Just for simplicity, again, this is by no means the only way to design a network. A lot of people would use the firewall as the core of the network where all of the communications would take place. It is a more secure approach, but for the purposes of this, it's just going to be a simple setup where all of the routing would take place on the switch itself. So once we set up our VLANs and our inter-VLAN communications, we are going to do the DHCP, which is the address distribution part of it. So if you ever wondered when you plug in your laptop to a network port, how you get an IP address, that's what we're going to be setting up on the switch as well. So sessions 5 and 6 are going to be on firewalling. Now, we have 2 firewall options. We have an SRX and the Fortinet. Just to show you all 2 different devices, the SRX, I would configure it using the console, which is the black screen where you type up the commands. On the FortiGate side of it, it's going to be web-based. So it's going to be a pretty page with menus and stuff like that. So we are going to set up those devices. Now, the firewalls would only be for internet access. So like I said before, if departments need to talk to one another, that would happen on the switch. And if you want to get to the internet, then you would hit the firewall and then move forward. So session 7 would basically be facilitating the communication between the switch and the firewall to show you all how do we get from point A to point B and how do we get to the internet. Session 8. So at the end of session 7, we would have a perfectly functional LAN network. So you could plug in to ports, you could get IP addresses, you could get access to resources. Everybody's into wireless now. Wireless has taken the world by storm. I'm sure everyone has realized that by now. So we're going to show you all how to set up a wireless network from ground up. So we're gonna introduce you to controllers, various models of access points. We're going to show you all how to set up different networks on the same access point and how to tie them to different VLANs so that even Wi-Fi users could have access to different resources. What we are going to also show you all is how to set up a guest network so that if you have a conference or a boardroom meeting and you're going to have external users coming in, it's more secure to have them on a separate network than put them on your corporate wireless where they would have access to all of your resources. So those are the next 10 sessions. After the 10th session, we are going to have a let's review session, so that we would go over everything that we would have configured and we would test everything now. Mind you, we would have testing in between where we need to. So like for inter-VLAN routing, we would have a session where we test and I would show you all how the inter-VLAN routing works in terms of a laptop in one department, a laptop in another department, and the communication between them both. These testings would be done via ping. Further down, I would test the DHCP and things like that. So it would be an interactive session. That is the purpose of it. And I really do hope that you could pick up your device and configure well. So from here, I will show you the basic network diagram. Now it's really high level. I didn't put any IP addresses. I didn't put any VLAN configurations or anything like that. The purpose of this session, like I said, is not to get too technical. So the devices that we are going to use is a Juniper EX2200 48P. The P just stands for PoE, as in power over Ethernet. So if you plug in, you would have power to a phone or an access point, so you don't need to actually buy additional power adapters. We are going to use a Juniper SRX 100 firewall and a 4860E firewall. Like I said, the purpose of the firewalls are just for internet access, and we are going to use a Ruckus 1100 controller. I do have R300 APs on the slide. I may introduce additional models just to show you all that it's all the same. So the traffic flow would be such that if a user needs to speak to one another in different departments, that would happen on the switch. There is no way that that's going to go up to the firewall because all of the routing is going to be local to the switch. So that's inter-VLAN routing. That's how that traffic flow is going to be. To get to the internet, the user would have to use their default gateway of their VLAN, which is the IP address that you get. It's usually tied to another IP that you use to exit that VLAN to talk to somebody else. So that's where the inter-VLAN routing would come in, and I would explain that further in that session. So from that, once you leave your switch using your default, let me start over. You leave your VLAN using a default gateway, and then you would leave the switch with a default route. Your default route would state that anything that I don't know, send it to this address, and that's what the default route would do. So it would send you to the firewall, and the firewall would send you, wrong direction, would send you to the internet. Let me just show this. Yeah, and that's how the traffic flow would work for internet access. Now from there, for the guest users, I did not do a traffic flow for them because what I am going to change in this is I am going to have an access point connected directly to the controller, and I am going to have an access point connected to the switch. So you would see how that traffic flow would work. What I will tell you all is that on the Ruckus devices, on our guest networks by default, if we are both on the guest networks, it's set up such that it's secure so that I cannot see you, you cannot see me, and no guest user can see any of the resources on the network. So I do hope you all stay with us in our further sessions after this beginner segment. We are going to move the routing from the switch to the firewall. So I hope you all stay tuned for that. Feel free to ask any questions, if you all have any suggestions, if you all have something that you all want to see, please feel free to contact us. I have our website information and our email as well as our phone number, so you all can contact us with anything that you all need to know. So I hope you all stick with us throughout this, and I hope you all have fun. Okay, bye.